we took a service up to the gold mine up in Chadsworth, which is the northern city here. There it is, Chadsworth. But yeah, the Eureka, or well, the Henrietta, as it's actually named here, needed some help on the way up here, and thankfully that mogul came in handy. But yeah, last episode we took the train through the valley, one of the trains through the valley, and now we're back up here in the gold mines, where we do need to service the mogul for a bit. We do need to get this ready to go back down the hill and back to a more stable area. This might actually be good for a banking helper locomotive, but who knows. But as of right now, our next service that we need to take care of, the next train we need to take care of, is actually just sitting over here by the rail yard, or the station here. Right here. We have another mastodon, this time named William, and the Elvenwood being the two locomotives on the front end here. Oh, gee. But we're gonna finally get over to the dredger. Why did I jump right over it? Jesus Christ. So we're gonna be driving off to the... Oh, god damn it. I'm gonna need to change the controls here because I did not realize... Okay, got it. Okay, that's the brake, so I need to swap those around, eh? Whoopsie! Alright, so I need to swap those controls around a little bit. Alright, here we go. Off we go. So, yeah, last episode was a trip around the valley. Now we're going back down the grade from the mountains. Probably should have blown for the crossing here, but oh well, we're good. Alright, once we get at this... Oop, not the brakes! Oh, God, stop! Oh god, that is gonna... Okay, I need to change that here real quick. Should have done this before I started recording, but oh well. Controls... As the controls reset on me for some weird reason, I don't know why, but I have to change everything here. That's the menus. Other, no. What was it? Locomotive. There it is. Wait, toggle the UI. Yeah, Y. That's correct. Okay, enter vehicle. Close regulator. That should be this one. That one. Brake should be this, that. Now, what are you doing? Oh. There. There. The brakes. Now we need the reverser. We're doing okay by the sound of it. I don't hear her stalling too much. Well, now she's getting ready to stall. Where the hell... Reverser, forward. Here we go. There we go. Oh, that was already set correctly. Got it. Alright, we're good. Yeah, that's right. There we go. Controls are back normal. Alright, good. We're back to where we want to be here. So the reason I had to get two locomotives for this job was because of how many cars we got behind us. We got coal in the hoppers here, tools in the box cars, gold in another hopper or gondola. We got a full thing of pipes, an empty box car that's going to be filled with seed pallets, empty tank cars, and empty stake flats and pulpwood cars. So we should be good to go all the way down the hill. This is going to be a long trip though. And this is a 2%, I believe, 2%, 2.1% grade on the way up. So, or 2.2%, or 2.5% grade, I mean. Not 2.1. What the hell is wrong with me? I've been playing too much, I've been building my route in Railworks for too long. 5 years to me, in fact. Alright, here we go. Now we're getting moving. I did also forget that the last 2 episodes I had the times locked, so we were not seeing the time change. So we now should have day and night cycles again. Let's see if we can get some speed out of this once we get down the mountain. The Mastodon is really loud compared to the Tweetsy engine, but they're kind of nice together, honestly, I gotta admit. They look nice. Coming up to the siding up here for the oil fields. How far are we from that? Yeah, not too far from it there. Alright, sounded for a pass through. I'll drop the reverser a bit. These locomotives being as powerful as they are for this contest, at least for the amount of cars we have towing behind us is actually 23 cars total, if I'm not mistaken. So it is pretty heavy. Unrealistic settings. I actually was tempted for a while to actually drop the physics settings a little bit so we can take the train up the hill just by the Tweetsy engine. But I figured, nah, just get another locomotive. We had the money for it anyway. Alright, here we come. Going through the siding here. There you go. Now that we're on roughly level track around here, we're going to be able to go downhill soon. We're also going to need to keep an eye on our speed when we get down the hill. A lot of at least all the empties are towards the rear of the train anyway. I'm going to drop the reverser here so we can get about 20% out of it. There we go. And run right through the switch again. On a train, maintain speed. I've gotten this train up to about 50 miles an hour down the grade here. That is after most of it derailed off the curve, but as you can tell, I've done a few test runs on this run. And we are now in the valley. But we should be able to take care of the speed here. The speed should be fine. Drop it down as far as we can. Close to center as we can to get it up to speed. This is probably the fastest we'll go on this line here. Keeping an eye on the speedometer there. Alright. Just hear the chuffing like going ape crap. Alright, let's give a little bit of brakes on there. We don't fly off the tracks here. I don't think I saw anything that flew off there. I think we're good back there. I thought I saw something fly off the tracks back there, but nope, it was just a shadow. Yeah, you're starting to see us slow down here. That's good. Alright, maybe a little bit more brakes there so we can get her slowed. Like I said, without any brakes, I've been able to get this train up to about 50 miles an hour on the downhill here. Which is very impressive. It of course derails everything once you get to a certain speed because the train just jumps around like a nutcase. But it's one of those things where it's legit kind of fun to run. I need to turn down this audio. I cannot hear myself talk. Nope. There we go. There we go. Now we got it. Now I can actually hear myself speak, and I'm going to be flying off the track here if I don't slow down. There we go. We're coming through. Alright, release the brakes. Coming up to the next sighting here, actually. Yeah, there's the refinery out there, the gold refinery. And you see the train bouncing around there as we hit the hill. We're about to hit 40 miles an hour as we get down here. I think the fastest speed we're ever going to get out of this run is about 40 miles an hour, 35 or so. So I'm going to try and keep her slow here. Imagine going about 40 miles an hour on a locomotive like this, man. The fact that we're bouncing around just by itself, like that should be enough to prove like you do not want to go this fast. Alright, release the brakes. We're kind of on a slow downhill there. About 50% cold. We should be able to hold off on the next siding. Going for the next crossing, or the siding. With how much speed we've got, we should be fine. Did we lose a car? 1, 2, 3, 4. No, we didn't lose a car. I thought one of the hoppers was gone. Or the gondolas. Damn it. Keeps screwing it up. Swear to God, if we derail, it's going to be a pain in the ass to deal with. Alright. It's time to go to the races, boys. Little bit of brake so we don't fly off the track there. Whee! See how many cars are back there. Release the brakes again. You see us whipping around this corner here. It's just like, my God. Speed and power, boys. Speed and power. The only reason I needed the Mastodon, actually, is to get up the initial grade out of the town. Now we're just, like basically racing down the hill at, like, Mach Jesus. Well, not exactly Mach Jesus, but still, you get the point. Oh, here we come. Next switch. Right through there, and we're good. Alright, release the brakes. Throttle open, and here we go. We're gonna need to open up the reg a little bit here, trying to get the speed up here. We'll cross the first bridge, first ditch crosser. There we go. Now we're up to speed, now we're up to temp. Speaking of which, I should probably put some coal in the fire so I can keep this moving. 53, that's good. We'll get a couple shovels in there. If I can actually aim for the box. Jesus. You can barely hear the chuffing on the Tweetsy engine here. Let's see if I can make it to the other locomotive here. I made it. Even if I don't make it, I can just fly over to the next one. You had about the same amount. That's good. I will admit, just operating these trains is kind of fun. Let's get back in the Tweetsy engine here if we can. I made it. Here we go. I'm picking up speed again. You can barely hear the chuffing. That is so weird. The fact that you can barely hear the chuffs, the stack talk on the lead locomotive here. It's mostly the Tweetsy engine. The Tweetsy engine is quiet as hell versus the Mastodon, which is just loud as can be. Finally going down grade. Did I lose a car? No, I did not. Okay, we're good. I think I lost a car. If I did, I'll check the map when I get to the next siding here. Actually, check the map now. I might be able to find it. Follow the path here. Path of least resistance. Did I lose anything? On the way up or down? Nope. We're good. Right, close the map, please. Around the bend and... over the spitter and past the tank. If you don't know that reference, I don't blame you. It is an old fucking video. If you, the machinimas from back in the day, there was a machinima series I used to watch a long time ago. It was Profound Moments in Left 4 Dead. Boy, that's a callback. Probably one of my... It's one of those series that was like... At the time, it was like, what in the world is going on here? And then now, looking back on it, it's like, what in God's name was some of these guys on? Lo and behold, it's still probably one of my... Like, I had it downloaded for a long time, like the old machinima versions. It's still up on YouTube, I believe, but you can. It doesn't have the machinima logo. It's got the guy's new logo that he made after machinima collapsed. And Lord knows that was something. I didn't know that machinima collapsed like only a few years ago. I think it was like, God, it was like late in the 2010s when it collapsed. But then again, with YouTube being about from 2005, it's only about 20 years old, so it would make sense that it lasted that long. I'm slowing down again on the hill. Get up to speed. Just slamming the reverser up and down, up and down. But yeah, it was one of those, like, back in the day, all the, like, those machinimas were actually kind of fun to watch, and it was just like, they were a good laugh. There's some of those lines I still quote to this day, actually, from that very machinima, like the, okay, bye! It's just like, and then, well, that hurt my ears, and stuff like that. Like, there's like these little quotes that are like, that are just absolutely hilarious at the moment of when they're said, and then he's just like, oh, yeah, those guys were just having fun in the game that they didn't. Like, there's another one where I think it was all three of those two quotes, and this quote in particular, like, let the Molotovs flow freely. Like, those were all in the No Mercy episodes, and I think it was the last particular episode in the No Mercy campaign that it just, like, devolved into chaos. It was the last episode of the series, and it was, like, the longest one they had done so far. It was very funny. At least, for the time. Again, a lot of that humor back then in the early 2010s was like absolutely offensive to a lot of people, which granted, that's fair. Like, you're gonna come across these people that are like not the greatest, but internet humor back in the 2010s was just absolutely like batshit crazy, if you will. Like, it was one of the craziest things you could ever come across. Got across our bridge here. I'm very proud of this bridge here. I'm very proud of it. You got the wood part here, and then steel bridge. It's the steel bridging right over the river here. It feels like something you would see in real life. Just that bridge in particular is very cool. I've done a few video shots of this going by. I also always love building the abutments as the stone walls as the abutments for the bridge. It makes it look realistic. I don't think they would have done that in real life, at least in the real narrow gauge situation, but it's fun. Alright, we're coming around the corner here. We're going to be coming around the next valley here, and the next siding here, actually. I just noticed that. Wow, there's not a siding for that long? You've got to wait a really long time to get to the next siding. Holy crap. I could at least build another siding somewhere where it's actually, like, decent. Like, maybe over here? It'd be a bit of a pain, but I could do it. Maybe over here, too. Or those are bridges. That's a lot of bridges. There's bridges over there. Damn it. Well, either way, one of these days we're going to have to expand the siding network here, because that is really long to get from one end to the other. There is a cutoff where you can go to the next waypoint, in a different direction, but still, it's kind of annoying. Probably should have at least one siding. Go through the Y here. Speaking of that segment. Okay. Now back to the Profound Moments thing. It was just like several of the episodes were just like, what on God's green earth are we talking about here? Like, a lot of YouTube videos, a lot of internet humor of that time was very offensive looking back on it now. Not saying that it's good, like not saying it's bad, but like, depending on your age, you always think like, oh, that's not that offensive and stuff like that. I need to get rid of that telegraph office. There's no point for that one. Aside from the siding up here. Oh, shit, I forgot to blow for it. There we go, we're good. Sun setting too. Nice. That's a thing. Is it? Is it directly overhead or is it setting? I think it's directly overhead of us. Let's. I'm gonna get out of the cab here for a second to check on that. They say don't stare at the sun. Yeah, there it is. Yeah, directly overhead. Not bad. What time is it? It is 1 o'clock in the afternoon. 1:30 in the afternoon. Got it. All right. They're picking up a little bit of speed. I need to fill in some of these switches here. Yeah, internet humor from back in the day. It's like the most, like, depending on the generation you grew up in or the particular time of the internet. It's like, wow, that was people were okay with them saying that, and then now and then you look on it years later and it's like, oh yeah, that makes sense. Like other stuff, like, oh yeah, that makes sense why they would stop saying that or whatnot. Like the Achievement Hunters, the guy Rooster Teeth and the Achievement Hunters, like half their stuff. If you actually rewatch some of their older Let's Plays from like mid 2010s, there's like, it's just like, what in the world? You guys were okay with saying this crap? Now, granted, it was not like anything racist or homophobic or anything like that. They were very good with that kind of stuff. None of them were really that bad on that front. But dear God, some of them have like questionable backgrounds. Ryan Haywood of all people, like one of the main Achievement Hunters. I don't know the story of it, but apparently he was caught with a 16-year-old or something. I don't know. It's something. It's not something I want to get into right here. But the Achievement Hunters had their fair share of controversy back in the day. Even like a lot of people had some weird things that they were doing back then. Not to say it was good or bad. Allegedly, there was some bad stuff going on, but yeah, it just, the Achievement Hunters were probably one of them. The Achievement Hunters, the Profound Moment stuff, like all this stuff. Like there was humor, a lot of this stuff that I watched back in the day was like, holy crap. This is kind of like Ryan and the whole Edgar's backstory. Edgar the cow. There was a whole backstory with Edgar. Like they had this cow that was in Ryan's house, and it was just like, you name the cow. Like I think it's on the 1130 Enchantment Let's Play where they first learn of the cow's name being Edgar. And Ryan says, yeah, I've named him Edgar because ever since he spawned, he won't leave. And, what the hell? We're slowing significantly here. What the hell happened? Oh, what happened? I don't have handbrakes on. And none of the cars are derailed. Come on. You can do it, boy. Wait, do I have a... Wait a minute. No? What just happened? We just stalled. What the hell? Roll it back. What the... Stop, 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 stop. Why are you in reverse? What the hell? Brakes on. What? I don't know what happened. And not only that, but it looks like we're not applying the brakes on the other locomotive here. Are we uncoupled? No, coupler's still attached. Ah. What the hell? I fell through the floor. Weird. Whatever. Let's see, brakes. Yep, brakes are on this locomotive too. Alright. Should be reattached or something. I don't know what happened there. There we go. Reattach. Let's go. That was weird. no derailment, no sign of trouble or anything like that, and all of a sudden the train just goes into full reverse as we go across this S-bend here. That is interesting. The one good thing is that this is enough power to get up this grade here, so. 70% coal. Let's go ahead and shovel another couple of things. There you go. One more for you. Okay, we're good. This was also very quiet. Now, what the hell's going on? Well, maybe it's just because my headphones are turned down, but okay. Throttle wide open. Brakes are off. Is it off? Yeah, brakes are off. Throttle's forward. Good, good, good. I'm just checking the locomotive here to see what's going on. I don't understand what the hell happened there. Weird. That derailed my... don't pun intended, but that derailed my whole train of thought. At least for now. There we go. Wow, we're back in the business. I wonder if I did lose a car and I just didn't notice. No, we didn't. We didn't lose a car. That was really weird. Alright, well. It looks like we might need servicing here on these locomotives soon. Alright. Well, I've been recording here, honestly. Only 26 minutes on the downhill, eh? Alright. We should be able to get to the dredger pretty quickly, though. That's good. Alright. Well, anyway, the whole thing with Edgar, like, he was introduced in the level 30 enchantment Let's Play. Later on, I think it was like a couple Let's Play later, it's like, they realized Ryan had put Edgar in a hole in his house, the more room. And it just like screwed everybody over. Like, what the hell is going on here? Like, I think Jeff Ramsey literally said, "You're a fucking freak." Oh, no, it was Michael that said that. "You're a fucking freak, Ryan." Little did they know how much of a freak he was. But it was like, I think it was Jack also was like, "It puts the milk in the basket" or something like that. It's just like, it's some sort of quote from another movie. I think it was oh god, what was that? Shawshank or something? It was it's a famous movie. I don't even know what it is though. I've never seen most of the older ones. That's something I really need to do soon, is actually watch some of the older movies. I've seen the original Ghostbusters and part of Ghostbusters 2. I never finished Ghostbusters 2, but I need to see that, Caddyshack, Airplane, a lot of the classic comedies, and then there's like classic like action, like stuff like there's some movies out there that I have not seen that are actually rather interesting. That I find interesting anyway. Emperor of the North, which is a common favorite. If you've ever like with heist and everything, Emperor of the North is kind of a shitpost of a movie a little bit in terms of like gotta blow the whistle here. Alright, there we go. We're clear. Yep, there goes autosave. It's been a while since I've seen the autosave symbol. Anyway, Emperor of the North is another movie I need to watch. Thankfully, there was a copy of it on the Internet Archive that I was able to download. And like old movies like that, like from the 70s, 80s, 90s, early 90s, like those are kind of the movies I have not seen, but I've always been interested in some of them because of just how famous they are. So, whoops, what did I do? Oh, I just dropped the reverser back. Okay. I think my main goal right now is to get to the dredger and then drop off the coal tools and all this other junk here. But we probably won't need the Tweetsy engine for that. If I'm gonna be honest, I don't think we'll need that locomotive for that run. Because there's no uphill grade. No, there is an uphill grade just outside the smelter. Yeah, that's right. So we'll need the power. Okay, fair enough. I need to also figure out what we're doing in terms of the other cars. Oh yeah, we're gonna be picking up beams. Is it beams or boards? One of the two. Oh, it's beams. Yeah, that's right. We're gonna be picking up beams. I think what we'll do is we'll drop off the pulpwood cars back there for use at the. No, we'll take them to the. No, yeah, we'll need to take them to the smelt ironworks and drop them off there. We will be making a stop in the ironworks at least, because there's cordwood cars over there that we can pick up as well. Which means that we'll probably need to be doing some more operations here in a second here. Go around the curve here at high speed. Reduce reverser. Yeah, I will say, internet humor and and how things have changed over the years. It's really interesting to say the least. I've never been one. The train bounced around there a bit. I've never been one to really be too offended by certain types of humor. As long as you're not using slurs and shit, that's fine. You do you. People can say whatever the hell they want. I'm fine with that. As long as you're not being derogatory, using slurs, being a racist and stuff like that, transphobic, homophobic, stuff like that. Yeah, we don't need to be worried about what you say and what you can and what you can't say. That's always been my mentality. As long as you're not a racist, a transphobe, or a homophobe, or using slurs on the regular, it's yeah, you do you. Yeah, so the idea of these the old internet where some jokes were a little questionable, but a lot of jokes depending on who you watch. Some of the YouTubers, and then you've got other situations where some YouTubers just got caught with just had one or two incidences. I think JonTron in particular, he had there was this one big incident with JonTron years ago, where I believe I don't know what he did exactly, but it was something bad enough where he was taken out of the development of Ukulele. He was a voice actor in Ukulele, but whatever he did in this controversy, he literally was pulled out of that game as a voice actor. Which, granted, I don't blame the company for doing that. I mean, it's one of those things where, at the end of the day, you need to be careful. There are times where you need to be careful of what you say, or what you do, because because your name is sometimes associated with a large game or large project or a large company, and that's why there's laws and stuff against for using other people's likeness without their permission. I'm coming down to the frickin' siding here and mock quite a bit of speed here. I'm gonna need this. Where's the whistle? Alright, we're going to cut down the throttle here so we can slow down and not run into anything at high speed. Just going to let's just coast on the way down. Whee! We still need to organize these cars, honestly. But I think I might do, eventually. Boards and beams are needed here, so we'll take up some cars when we get there. But yeah, it's just oh geez, I went in reverse. But yeah, that was one big controversy there. I know that there was around 2016, 2017, 2018 is when things really got kind of chaotic with the various groups and all that. I mean, that's kind of that era of the SJW stuff, which again, that's, I mean, I get the whole argument with a lot of that stuff. I mean, that era, the mid-2010s, was just an era of complete insanity in general. It was a time where, essentially, you were given no... Wait, am I missing a car? No, I'm not. Okay. I keep thinking I'm missing a car back there. I keep thinking I'm missing one hopper, but the other hopper's filled with gold, which is why it's I'm not always noticing it. Anyway, we're coming up to the ironworks up here. But, yeah, it's just when you actually look into what these, companies are obviously going to be careful of what they say. because a lot of their audience is all over the spectrum and all over the place in terms of what they do, what they are interested in, what they do. I mean, that's one of the reasons why the Disney Corporation doesn't usually take a political stance unless they absolutely have to. They don't do that because they know half their audience is going to be on one side or the other on any sort of issue. Okay, we're coming to a stop here at the yard here. Okay, well, reverse or forward so I can get moving here. There's this bridge up here that we need to get across, and that's going to take some effort here. Maybe not too much effort. But yeah, it was just like, whatever you say, like, from my point of view, never worry about what you say on the internet unless it's like directly against the law or directly affects, like, because yes, we should be held to account to the things we say on occasion, but at the same time, there are going to be people that are bent out of shit for just basically whatever you say. You're never going to please everyone, and that's kind of the rule I live by. It's like, you're never going to please everybody. Only if you start breaking the laws or breaking just general common sense rules do you really need to watch what you say or watch what you do. So for things like just using just general slurs and like stuff like that, it's one of those things where you don't want to do that simply because you're gonna, like, it's a common sense rule not to say slurs, and yet people do it on the internet. I mean, the whole thing with PewDiePie back in the day. PewDiePie and while playing PUBG, like, said a slur on his stream. Of course, it got him in trouble, rightfully so. And he had a few other controversies around that same time too, such as paying two guys to hold anti-Semitic signs. It's like basically just trying to get clicks and everything. And it was one of those things. Like, at the time, it was like, oh yeah, that's not exactly the brightest thing. That's not exactly something you should be doing, but. And he got in trouble for it. Needless to say, he got in trouble for what he was doing. We're gonna stop here, and we're gonna actively not block the main line as we drop our train off here. And it's actually getting dark here, which is nice. Right, stop. Let's switch here. Oh, we didn't even go all the way through. We're blocking the line back there, but that's fine. We're gonna back the whole train up into the siding. Set our train, what was it, track 2? Yeah, it is this track right here. We need to set, okay, we need to set the caboose off on this track here first. So that's going to be a pain in the ass to deal with it. Back the train up. Here we go. Back it up. But yeah, it's like, you need to be held to account for anything, like, for certain things you say, but at the same time, like, don't worry too much about, like, saying something that like, I guess the whole thing I'm trying to say, essentially, is don't say, like, stuff that is obviously offensive to the majority of people, and you, like, that kind of stuff, like, again, saying a slur or being homophobic, transphobic, racist, like, stuff like that. Like, don't do that. Don't be a dick, as people would say. Don't be a dick. Be nice to other people and just treat them with respect, even if they're not, like, even if they're doing something that you don't personally like. They're still a human fucking being. They're still a person that is legit trying to live their own life as best they can. So, and a lot of times that's very hard for them to do. So the idea of, say, just basically just making things harder for them is going to be a problem for anybody. So it's just one of those things where, like, when you actually look at it, look at the details and everything, it's like, yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. Like, you shouldn't do that. And granted, I know it's going to be hard for some people. There's no doubt about that. There's no doubt that there are people that are just straight up assholes. There are people that are going to be dicks. And those people should be held to account. They should be held to a higher standard. There are people that need to be held to a higher standard no matter what. But at the same time, there's also people that, like, it's when it's obvious that they don't typically do this kind of stuff on the regular, then by all means, like, give them a pass. Give them a little bit of a pass. Yes, hold them to account if they do say, like, one slur. Yes, hold them to account. You don't do that. Just in general, I don't do that. And hell, there was actually, I will actually tell this story here. I played I have a second channel called The Otaku Gamer, and there was a series of videos on the channel there from the game World of Warships. And during one of the videos, and keep in mind, World of Warships is set during World War I, World War II era, so a lot of the ships are battleships, destroyers, all that kind of stuff. Well, leave it to somebody who plays a ton of World War II type games, mind you. This was something that I unintentionally did. But I used a old World War II slur, essentially, for the term Japanese. Now, you probably can guess pretty easily which one it was, because it's said pretty regularly on most games and media. Now, there is a different one that apparently is a much more derogatory term. The one I said was just basically the short form of Japanese, which, again, kind of the least offensive of the bunch at the time, if you think about it, because it's just shorthanding of the word Japanese, which, again, depending on who you ask, it's like, okay, yeah, probably not the best idea to do that. But that also kind of like common in a bunch of cultures. Like, for example, the term anime is short form for animation. And a lot of people are like, oh, it's a Japanese anime. So which is basically the equivalent of saying, oh, it's a Japanese animation. Anime is straight up a short form of anime. Now there's other sources, like other phrases like manga and stuff like that are very different. I don't think it has a direct translation. Mangas are basically Japanese comics, or at least a form of them. So just these phrases and everything, like but when I said that word, and I won't say the word directly because, again, it's one of those, like, it's a shorthand. It's kind of... I will admit, I was going a little fast around the drill track there. So, Kenosha was playing... only 2 cars? Yeah, only 2 cars. Just these 2 cars derailed. Okay, interesting. Right as I turn around, too. That's hilarious. Alright. Oh, this looks like this one's going to roll into the car. So what we'll do, we'll let that roll a bit. Right as I'm talking about that, too. Like, that's hilarious. I did not expect that. That's a unexpected Kenosha. And right at the tail end of the video, too. It's like, that is, yeah, about 4... Yeah, that's pretty far into the video here. Did we clear the switch back here? Yes, we did. All right, we good. We good. We good. But yeah, like that whole thing. Let me figure out what track we need to go on here. I want to say it's this one here. Yeah, it's this one. All right. Just line the switch back. It's behind us. So this is the track we need to go on. No. Yes, this is the track we need to go on right here. Line the switch here. Go. Should be correct. We shouldn't run into the rest of the cars. Yeah, we're good here. Alright. Now we need to run the train back, I guess, if we can. Oh, yeah, you know what? I can just use the Mastodon for now. Because that's probably what we're going to do. We're just going to shove it with the Mastodon and get it into position. Because the other train's off the tracks and uncoupled there, so we'll have to do this anyway. Did it couple in? It just rolled a little bit. It didn't couple, though. Is it still coupled? No, it's not coupled at all. Oh, it was coupled somehow. That's hilarious. Alright, we're going to release the brakes. Send the train back. And we got to hitch in. There we go. Got it. Push it. Alright, off we go. Push it back. And we're going to go all the way back to the rear end of the train here and just shove it back. And once we get that in the siding here, we're going to go ahead and just pop this all onto the caboose and take the rest of it up. I literally was not expecting the train to derail like that. That is hilarious. But yeah, just like, that was one of those times where, like, I did censor it in the video. I did chop it out because it was just one of those things where it's like, yeah, I'm not going to be the one to say that on a video and have that, like, sitting there. But it was one of those things where it's like, it was one of those things where, like, I did it by mistake, or, well, it's something I never did. It's something I never have done and will never do again. So it's like, I said it once and like, oh, just because I was playing a World War II game and I was fighting against a Japanese destroyer, I think it was the ship that I got blown up by. Or, no, it was because I ran into another ship, I believe. It was something like that. It was like something along those lines where I was like, it was something not serious to the point, but it was like rather interesting. Like, oh, right, we don't want to be doing that right off the bat there. Because we were in the middle, I was in the middle of the combat session of that. Jesus Christ, we are rolling. I'm going to block the switch there. Oh, I think it's stretching out because it's kind of, yeah, there we go. And it's starting to rain too. That's nice. It's kind of funny. Alright, well, what we're going to do, we're going to tie down the brakes on the first car and roll it back. And it's a good thing I have the empties towards the front here. That collision on that pole is going to screw with me the entire time, I think. Couple undone, and we're starting to get rain here. That's good. Feels like we're going to get rain in real life, too, honestly. Alright, there we go. Set the brakes down. I might as well take it down on both cars here. That way, we know for a fact it won't roll away. Alright, so let's get this moving here. I hit the mic. And we'll get this coupled in and ready to go. And I think once we get everything sorted here, we'll head up to the dredger. It's already been about 50 minutes since I started recording, so what we'll probably do is cut the video short here. Because this is going to take some effort. Oh, this is going to take some time to do. Come on. There we go. You can see the rain coming down now. There we go. You need to make sure we don't run off the end of the track here, too. Alright. Kind of slow her down here. Just kind of coast along the line. Actually, while we're doing this, I'm going to re-rail that tender so that we can deal with that. So we don't have to re-rail the tender here. That is backwards. There we go. Alright, we're good. Let's get this back. Some brakes. Back it up. Good hitch. I think the other train should be rolling up here. There he is. Taking some effort here. Just running slow. Running slow, but that's kind of the way we need to go about it right now. We don't want to be going too fast because we don't want to run off and end up derailing the train again. Just need to get this train off of this track. There we go. That bell really sounds like either 90 or it's a locomotive bell that I'm well familiar. I feel like I'm very familiar with, but I don't know which one it is. Coasting up to the locomotive here. Yeah, the main thing I probably should do is service these locomotives before we go any further as well, because I don't know if they need water. They might need water. Are we clear to switch back there? It looks like it. We'll hitch into the other locomotive. Donk! And once again, we hit the buffer a little hard. Okay. We derail again? No, we're good, we're good. The whole thing's on the tracks this time. There we go. Yoink. And the Mastodon is a beast of a locomotive, but then again, it's a newer locomotive compared to the Tweety engine. I think the Tweety engine is 1904 and the Mastodon is like 1912 or something, like 1909 or something like that, so slightly newer. Alright. So we dropped off the pulpwood flats, and we're gonna drop the, we're gonna go ahead and hook into the caboose, drop and pick up some beams and boards as we go out to the, well, maybe not beams and boards, but at least beams, so we can start dropping them off of the coal mines. Because we're also going to drop off those hoppers at the coal mine and probably load up as much gold as we can. Because we also have to drop off coal. Oh, yeah, that's right. I forgot about that. We dropped off a couple of what was it? Yeah, tools at the gold mine over in the valley. Forgot about that. And we need beams and rails to really continue the work there. And if I'm not mistaken, there are plenty of rails at the two smelters right now. Let me double check on that here. So I know there's 80 rails at the main yard right now. But while I was off camera, I did do some organizing there. And then over here, what do we got here? 88 rails? Is that right? Is that what it's saying? 88? What is it? Double check, because this one says... Yeah, 86. So that's 88 rails. We have more raw iron over there than anything. That's interesting. We have more raw iron than we have rails. That's very interesting. Should probably start shipping more raw iron too from that one, because it's right over here with the ironworks, so it might be a good idea to start doing that. Now that I think about it, that might be a good idea. We'll pick up raw iron on the way. Well, that would mean making 2 trips around the smelter line, honestly. Because we would be dropping off at the ironworks, we would drop off the raw iron here, but we would need to turn around again and go back to the sawmill to actually pick up beams, which is going to be a pain in the butt anyway. But then again, oh God, how do I do this? Because what we need to do, we need to pick up rails for sure. We need to pick up beams. And I think it holds about 50 rails, or 50 or 60 rails, and I want to say 30 beams or something like that. Something short there. Okay, we're hooked in here. All right. Brakes on, locomotive set. All right. But yeah, I am gonna try to organize all this right here. Especially after it's now that it's starting to rain. I don't hear any sounds though in the rain. That's interesting. But yeah, like and comment down below. Subscribe if you guys want more. Sorry if I got a little existential with the middle of the video here, or whatever it is. Just basically just like talking about serious topics. Normally I don't do that, but whatever. But yeah, like and comment down below. Subscribe if you guys want more, and I will see you guys in the next video. Take care.